All right. Well, I'll invite as people come in, I'll add them to the meeting. Um, but if you have questions as we go through this, please stop me and I will pick up. Hold on. There we go. Stop me and ask questions. But here we go. All right. Welcome to the 2026 Max League Coaches Meeting for the rookie division. For all of the local towns that are part of the MAC League, for rookies, we only have Townsend, Pepperell, and Lunenburg, I believe, for this year. So just as a heads up, we also have summer and fall seasons for the MAC League. That will be for all divisions, including rookie. So if you've got kids that want to play this summer, this fall, the MAC does have a program for all of them. The rules are identical across all three seasons so that the kids don't get confused. And as a heads up, summer and fall seasons, you will see towns outside of the core MAC towns, but they can participate. It does mean a little bit more travel, but there are more opportunities for the kids to play ball. Typically, we'll see Westford in the off season, Acton, Boxborough. Sometimes we'll see some teams from New Hampshire. We've had some interest from Concord, Carlisle. So we'll see what the summer brings. All right, some important dates for the rookie program. So games will begin on April 27th. They will go to the end of season, which will be June 21st, and the All-Star game will be June 20th. The season is 8 weeks long with 2 games per week. Weekday games start at 6 p.m. Weekend games will be at 3 or 6 unless something has been uniquely changed. As we don't keep records, there's no postseason play at the rookie level. As far as the All-Star games for the rookies for this year, it will be June 20th. It will be at Townsend's Craven Field at 6 p.m. So the different areas are doing the All-Star games on different towns. So the way the All-Star games work, the number of players sent per team is typically based on seeding. We won't have seeding here, so each team will be relatively equal. Each team will send one coach, and the top seeds will be head coaches again. Will be a little bit more unique for a rookie. One of the things that are important to understand is when you pick your all-star players. So these are not always the most talented kids. Every town or coach selects their own criteria of the kids that they send to the all-star games. It could be something as simple as this kid had the best attendance. This kid put in the most effort. This kid showed the most improvement over the season. It is not meant as a talent-based all-star game. It is meant as a how do we recognize kids that have put in either special effort. Doesn't mean it can't be talent. It's just the talent is for the Cal Ripken All-Star program. So, but this is more to recognize players that have put in above and beyond. So we definitely recommend that. I will tell you that if you recommend your own kid for that, I strongly recommend that you send a good message out to your parents explaining exactly why you selected your own child. It will save you a ton of headaches from parents wondering why your kid got picked over theirs. So do yourself a favor and head that off. All right, games not played. So games should only be rescheduled due to weather, not lack of players or a coach conflict. Okay, rainouts do not need to be rescheduled for Rookie League. So we schedule enough to ensure that you get about 12 to 14 games per season. So we schedule 16. So the thought is that you'll get about 12 to 14 in. Can you reschedule them? Absolutely. Do you have to? No. So it's up to you if you decide you want to reschedule them. If you can get them in, that's always great. If you can't, as long as you get 12 to 14 in, you've basically met the goal for games for the rookie program. The home team will be the one responsible for determining whether the field is playable. And you must contact the opposing coach no sooner than 2 hours prior to the game time if it does get canceled. If you see lightning, it's a 15-minute game delay. So make sure you keep tabs on that. There's no umpires in rookie leagues, so coaches have to make that decision on their own. Um, you know, it's rookies, so we're a little bit more lenient about how you run the program for that. So just do your best based on the conditions that you're looking at. Some information on the fields. So make sure you understand the safety rules of the fields that you're visiting. Their rules, regardless of MAC or your local rules, takes precedent. I like to remind people of this because not every field has the same exact rules. And when you and your parents and families go visit another town, you have to follow their rules. If you don't follow their rules, you could end up not being allowed to be there. So be careful for that. A few notes: almost all the fields do not allow dogs to be brought to their fields. I'm going to highly recommend you tell all of your parents, just leave your dogs at home. Don't bring them to any games. It'll save you lots of headaches down the road, because what you'll find is that games will get put on hold if animals show up to fields. So this is the way that the league has found to be the best. Instead of getting the police involved, they basically just put the games on hold until the dogs are moved. And you get some very angry parents until that dog gets out of there. So keep that in mind. None of our fields allow smoking, vaping, chewing tobacco, or any sort of drug use. No alcohol is ever to be brought or consumed at any of our games. This means no mom Yetis filled with alcohol. So keep that in mind. If any rule is suspected of being broken, the game gets put on hold until the offending rule is rectified. And as you travel, treat all fields as if they're own. When your game is over, make sure you clean up the dugout and the spectator area for your fans before you leave. So if you travel to another town, don't leave the dugout covered in trash. Don't let your spectators leave all their trash on the bleachers, on the grounds. Take the time and take care of these fields that you're visiting. Everybody spends a lot of time to try to keep their fields in good shape. Make sure you treat them just like you would be your home field when you travel. So for rookie ball, what are the season goals? What are we really trying to get out of season? So for rookie, your overall goal for the season is that the kids have fun and they come back next year. That's the number one goal. It's really about trying to keep kids engaged and involved throughout the year. Really, the next piece is the next level of play is minors, which is a competitive program. And the kids are expected to come in understanding the rules and the basics of how to play. So what does that mean? That means in rookies, you have to be teaching them how to pitch. You need to teach them how to catch. You need to teach them how to steal, how to do all of the basic functionalities of baseball. They're going to be expected to know a lot of those things when they get to the next level. A lot of these kids could be playing in the Cal Ripken All-Star Tournament, potentially in the 8U teams. They will need to know how to play competitive ball for those programs. So it's really important you teach them throughout your seasons to make sure they understand those things. As many kids as mentioned, like as many kids as possible shot how to pitch and catch. Unless there's a kid that absolutely is adamant about not doing it, you should try to teach all of your players how to pitch and teach all of them how to catch. Put the gear on every one of them. Have every one of them step on the mound. Have them try doing it. Have practices dedicated to pitching and catching. It is probably the single biggest thing that you can teach your kids in rookie ball is how to start pitching and catching. As the years go on, the number of kids that are willing to do that starts dwindling very quickly and very fast. So the more you can get them taught early, the better for everybody as you go all the way up the line and move up to the next levels. All right, as far as games and scoring. So in rookie ball, you are supposed to keep score and you are supposed to determine a winner reasonably. Okay, so there are no records, there are no playoffs, so it doesn't matter who wins and loses. And it's okay to wait a few weeks, but it's important you start this by mid-season at the latest. So the real thing is kids need to understand that these games, that there are going to be someone who's going to win, there's going to be someone that's going to lose. And the sooner they learn that, the better, because they're going to have a hard line when they get to minors ball. So they're going to learn very fast, very hard that not everybody gets a trophy starting in minors, and not everybody, not everybody's going to win. So it's important that they start seeing and hearing that in rookie level. So the sooner you can start teaching them that, the better. Games should last for at least an hour and 45 minutes. If you can, that means if you can play 12 innings, play 12 innings. Okay. So what we don't want to see is, hey, we got through 6 innings in 45 minutes and then you call it a night. This is a learning division. The kids need the practice. They need the opportunities. Let them play the game as much as you can. Some games you might only get 3 innings because you've got big teams. Some games, because you have small teams, you might get a ton of innings in. The more reps, the better. So it's not a strict 6 innings and you're done in rookie ball. So play for at least that hour and 45 minutes and give them all of that time and those opportunities. All right, some information about being on offense. So all bats must be USA bat stamped. Make sure that they're using USA bats. They can't be using bats that say T-ball on them. They can't be using bats that say USSA on them. So USA bat is the standard for all of Babe Ruth baseball, from T-ball, well, from rookies all the way up. So make sure that they're using USA bats across the board. Kids should be wearing helmets. Face mask helmets are not required. They can wear them. There's nothing wrong with it. They can wear the side pieces. They can wear the full face shields. They just have to, at a minimum, they have to wear a helmet. As long as they're wearing the helmet, they're good to go. All boys should be wearing athletic cups and athletic supporters. It's really important you start getting them used to wearing a cup at this level, or even preferably in T-ball. The sooner they start getting used to wearing it, the sooner it stops becoming an annoyance and they stop complaining about it. So we definitely recommend you do it. Kids in rookie ball are probably the most prone to getting hit there. So it's probably a good idea that you make sure that they are wearing those cups. They're not getting hit very hard, but even a slow rolling ball into the crotch is going to hurt for a little kid, and they will probably never play again if they're not wearing a cup. As far as lineup go, all the kids are in continuous lineup, so there's no subs, there's no moving kids around, none of that type of stuff. There's no on deck batters, so when you're on offense, all of your kids are either in the dugout or they're at the plate or on the bases. So there shouldn't be anybody out swinging a bat anywhere in prep for their at bat. It's rookies; they don't need the prep for it. The goal is really to keep your coaches on the field. So having kids swinging bats around when you don't really have good eyes on them is probably not the best thing for anybody. Bunting, it is allowed, and you really should be teaching them how to bunt and how to defend against a bunt. It's important. This is one of those skills that it's going to be really, really important they learn, especially before they get to minors. So start working on it with the kids, show them the proper way to turn on the ball, get those bunts in. There is no stealing. Sliding is allowed, and this is another one of those special skills that are really important. You teach your kids how to slide. So once they get to minors, sliding is going to be a required item for anytime they're coming into bases. So it's really important you teach them how to slide at the rookie level. So just remember to keep that on your practice and on your skill set that you're teaching them throughout the rookie season. All right, during the first half of the season, players may advance up to 2 bases on a hit ball during the first half. After the midpoint, they can advance any number of bases when the ball is hit to the outfield. And up until the fielder throws the ball, and then they're stuck on whatever base they're on. There is no base advancement on errors. So very high likelihood that in rookies, kids are going to be throwing the ball all over the place. They're not going to make good catches. They're not going to make good throws. And then to have kids running the bases because the ball has 5 errors on one play doesn't help anybody. So there is no base advancement on any errors. Any questions to this point? All right. As far as pitching goes, first half of the season, the coaches will be the pitchers. At half inning ends when the entire lineup has batted through once. Each player that gets up, they get 3 swings. So it's not 3 strikes, it's 3 swings the first half of the season. Once you get to week 5, that's when players need to start pitching. And this is not optional. So if you haven't been teaching your players how to pitch, by midseason, they have to be ready to go. So once the players are starting to pitch, after 4 balls, swap to a coach to pitch that at bat, and then the player will return for the next batter. The half inning will end when there are 3 outs, 4 runs, or the offensive team has batted through their lineup. Strikes should be called by the coaches. Now, don't be, traditional. The strike zone is this big from here to here. Like, open the strike zone up, give them a big opportunity. If it's close, call it. If it's a swing, obviously it's a strike. But try to be flexible with the kids here. The goal isn't to dominate another team. The goal is to teach these kids. No more than 1 inning per player pitched. So be flexible on this one. If you've got some kids that aren't really ready and you got one kid that could go another inning, maybe let him go a second one. But the goal of really saying it's 1 inning per player is to get more kids pitching. So we don't want, the goal is to really get more kids at it. But as they start learning, that's kind of part of the process. Okay. If the kid cannot throw over the plate, give them a chance, be reasonable, and take them out when it's called for. If they've gone 5 walks in a row, don't leave them in there. They're gonna get frustrated. They're gonna get upset. Just make it an easy transition for another kid to come in and start learning it a little bit. There are no walks in rookie, so there's going to be nobody dealing with a walk situation. On defense, there are 10 players on defense, which means we use 4 outfielders. And when the coach is pitching, pitcher should be right next to them. Catchers should be suited up all season. So you can take a few weeks if you still try to get a catcher there, but hopefully by week 1, you've got a player that's willing to be in catcher's gear behind the plate. So obviously they're not going to be getting hard pitches thrown at them, but it's more of a retrieval process. But it's about teaching them how to get the gear on, how to be there, how to get familiar with the process. And you get some kids that really love it. So really give them the opportunities and you'd be surprised. Coaches are allowed in the field the entire season to help the kids how to play. So while this isn't something we allow in minors and up, in rookies, we encourage it. So we typically want you to see, like, if you've got 3 or 4 coaches on your team, put them all in the field to help. Obviously they can't touch the ball, they can't make plays in the ball, but they can be there to help instruct and to teach them how to do the plays and stuff like that. It will help your kids in that scenario. All right, I'm going to walk through the website now. Stop sharing this. 1 second. Okay. All right. So this here is the MAC website. If you haven't seen it, it is macleague.org. Everything you need is on this website. This is where you will find information about your other coaches. What you'll see up here is teams. This is all the teams that are in the MAC League for this year. So as far as rookies go, you'll see them all over here on the left. So you'll see the three from Lunenburg, 3 from Pepperell, and 4 from Townsend. Everybody should have got an invite to their team. If you didn't get your invite to your team, send me a message and I'll make sure you get it. It's important because when you come in here, this is how you're going to see other coaches. So if I come in and I click on a team, okay, let me try. Okay, the Townsend coaches haven't done their job. Let's try this one. Nope, not this one either. All right, we got one coach here. So when the coaches actually accept their invites, their name is going to show up here with their contact information. If the coaches do not accept their invites, it's not going to show up here, which means the coaches of the other teams cannot find you. So it's really, really important that you make sure you do that. Once you come in here, I'm gonna go over to my test team just so you can see some more details. So on my test team here, there's a couple things I'm going to show you. So you'll be able to come in, click on games. This will show you your whole game schedule. Because Rookies isn't going to keep score that's recorded, you do not need to click this button here and score any games. However, a lot of times you need to if you do need to reschedule a game, you're going to come in here and you're going to click this button here. You're going to pick whatever reason you want for the request. It doesn't matter what you pick. It's just a data point. This one is going to be important. So you have 3 options, and I'm going to start from the bottom up. You can just cancel. If you kick this, the game will just completely disappear off the schedule and it'll never to be gone again. Basically do this if you decide you're not going to make up a game and you want to just cancel it and get rid of it. If you hit postpone, this just means you're going to reschedule it, but it's going to sit there and wait till you reschedule it, but it's going to be flagged as a postponed game. Okay? And then reschedule is probably the most one to note here. When you reschedule a game, you're going to come in, you're going to give a reason why. You're going to pick the proposed date, proposed time, the duration, and whatever location the game is going to be played at. Once you hit save here, this is not automatically going to change the game. An email is going to be email request is going to be sent to the coach of the other team, and the other team has to approve it before it actually takes effect. So both coaches have to approve any reschedules so that you don't have to worry about, hey, how did this game get rescheduled? It showed up on my calendar with a different date. All of a sudden, I didn't know that. This solves that problem. So you'll never get a game that's changed on your schedule without you being aware of it, because you have to accept the change. Does anybody have any questions on the rescheduling portion? All right. When you come in here, you can click on league contacts. That will show you across the program all the different coaches for your division. I'm not sure if I can see it on this one. Let me see if I can. There you go. Yeah. So like here, when I click on this one, you can see these are all the coaches who actually accepted their invites. So if you're on the meeting right now and you don't see your name here, that means you did not accept the invite. So you need to go through and accept the invite that I sent over to you. So looks like Lunenburg did well, but Pepperland and Townsend are both slacking. So I'm going to have to get on people. The other piece that I wanted to show, when you accept your invite, under settings here, I can't see it because I'm not logged in as the coach. When you're logged in as a coach and you click on settings, there's going to be an option here for privacy. You need to make sure that the privacy setting is set to public, email, and phone number. If you don't pick the public setting, your name and contact information is not going to be available to the other coaches, and nobody will be able to get in touch with you. So it's really important you make sure you select public, email, and phone number. Okay. While you're on the website here, there's a few other things to note. Under resources, you're going to find the rules for rookies here. And this will go through the entire rules for the rookie season. Okay. If you need information on stuff like All-Stars, you can click on this here. To give you some details on the All-Star program, this hasn't been updated for this year, but I'll update that soon. Coaches meetings. So right now, these are last year's coaches meetings. Once this meeting is done being recorded, I will upload it and you'll see the recording for this meeting and for all the other divisions in here as well. So you'll be able to come in and click on each one. I've already put a copy of the PowerPoint under here as well. So if you're looking to get a copy of the PowerPoint, it's already sitting out there waiting for you right now. Let's see, for rookies, I don't There's not really much other things. The only other thing to note under about, you're going to see our facilities. This here is a list of all the fields across the league. If you need to know where the addresses are of any of them, you click on any of these links, it will bring you out to Google Maps with a direct link for where that field is. That's really about it for the rookies program. Do you have questions that I can help answer? This is your opportunity. Nobody?
Keith, I have a question.
Shoot.
I coached last year. So for rookies, my question is, I do know because we have a couple new coaches coming in. I know a couple of us last year when it was player pitch, we kind of was like if kids got hit from a player when they were pitching from the ball, I guess most of us, because most of the coaches agreed that if a kid got hit, they could either decide we gave them a choice of they wanted to continue to keep hitting or if they wanted to take their base. Is that okay to still keep doing?
Yeah, that's fine. It's
Okay.
the way I kind of look at that one is, some kids that get hit by the ball, they're not going to give a crap and just want to keep hitting. Some kids are, it's going to impact them, and having them just go to first base is probably the best solution.
And also the thing is, if they did get hit with the pitch and they want to continue to bat, their coach would then take over from the player,
I
and
think
then
that's
pitch to
reasonable.
that kid,
Yeah,
for that batter. So
yeah, that's reasonable. I mean, again, our goal here isn't to punish any kids or try to make it harder. It's to give them opportunities and make them enjoy the game.
mhm.
So something like that absolutely gives some flexibility. I mean, kids that are just trying their first year of pitching, they're not going to be great at
Yeah.
it. So it's going to be hit or miss. And you kind of have to work a little bit with the kids and try to just do the right thing in some cases. So the only thing we just don't want to see is a team giving up on the idea of kids pitching because it didn't go well a couple of games. So that's the biggest thing we want to try to avoid is just coaches saying, nope, we're not doing this anymore. And then, because we had that happen a few years back. And that's why we stress that you can't really change that rule anymore. So, but yeah, something like that, make the right decision for the kids. And again, there's no records here. So yeah, you're going to try to declare a winner, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. So
Yeah, no problem.
do the
I
right
just
thing.
wanted to make sure if that was okay. That's all. So
Yeah, you're good. Any other questions? All right, quiet group tonight, but it makes it nice and easy and gives me a little bit
Oh,
of a
I
break.
do I do have a question.
Oh, so close. God,
Sorry. Are we doing the same thing where regardless of how many players show up for a team, we're trying to get the game going no matter what?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it does. The reality is if you have 5 kids, you can get a rookies game in. You barely are going to need an outfield. You know, just do whatever you can. If one team has a lot of players, borrow one if you need it. Um, so it really doesn't matter. Do what you can to get the games in. But if kids show up at the field, they want to play. So let them
Okay.
play.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. Well, if we have no other questions, I'm going to call it and I'll take a break before my next call. All right, everybody. Have a great season, and I'll probably see you all at the field at some point. Take care. Bye, everybody.